entertainment critics. I am Antoine.
I am still James.
We got a nice little podcast planned for y'all today. Got a movie review, quick little spoiler discussion, and a couple of trailer reactions. Sorry. We got a couple of trailer reactions, and we're going to talk about a little news, a little, comic movie news, and that's always out there.
Right.
All right, so we're going to jump into this review. Got Ready Player One. We went to see Ready Player One, just fresh off it. Pretty good movie. It was a little long for my taste, but we're going to talk about all that in the review. So Ready Player One was a book at first. What's the author name, you know?
I can no longer remember.
Oh, well, you read it, right?
Yeah.
Did you enjoy the book?
I did.
All right, well, this was a book, a YA novel, about some young adults fighting grown-ups.
Aren't they all?
I know.
Really?
To my understanding, this book came out like 2011 or something, so it ain't been out that long. But so this movie was about this is in the future, near future, and they created this virtual world. It's kind of like it's like online gaming, I guess you would say.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically if someone made the internet a 3D interactive virtual world.
Right. Which is kind of a cool idea.
But dangerous.
And, and I'm thinking, like, if this thing existed, people would not live in,
No.
It'd be too many people in this virtual, especially the point of this was the real world was so messed up. People gonna want, they just like, look, let's just live here.
Like they don't go into it too much in the book, in the movie, but in the book, like, folks send their kids to school through the Oasis. So like, look, shit, we can't take you to school like that.
I mean, just think about it. It's like homeschool. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the difference? You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, so like they don't, like I said, they don't show it in the movie, but in the book, like, the Oasis is a much larger part of people's daily lives.
Yeah, and I got that feel from this movie because it's like the way they played it up. They showing everybody in their house, but everybody was hooked up to the Oasis or whatever. So they create this virtual world, and the real world is kind of messed up, slummy. It's
Overpopulated.
Probably overpopulated. Probably because, and part of the reason why they're so messed up because they spend so much time in this virtual world, they won't fix their real world. So in the near future, everybody stays in this virtual world, and the creator of this virtual world, which is now, wait a minute, what's the deal with the resources stuff? Then they say whoever gets we'll get to all that. Okay. Because, the creator of this virtual world was like, I guess like Bill Gates or whatever, but this virtual world was like, it started to be the only thing that mattered in this future or whatever. So the creator of this virtual world made Easter eggs, which is anybody play video games. Easter eggs are always things the hidden rooms that you find in games that unlock stuff that give you little clues.
Secrets, sometimes it's just a little, calling card from the developers.
Yeah, a lot of times,
like that.
Right? They'll put like, you open this, you find this hidden key, and you'll see who developed the game or whatever. That's kind of like their whole. A lot of the little games used to have that stuff. Yeah. If you into that. I just wanted to beat the game. I didn't care about all that. But anyway.
But like those kind of things that used to become urban legends. Someone would hear about somebody finding one, and folks would waste the next 3 years trying to find it.
Now this is a big in the gaming community thing.
It's not as big as it used to be because they don't make them as big as they used to in the internet. Like, once someone finds it, they just go ahead and post how they found it on the internet. But like,
right. Before the internet, before people had other ways of putting it out there, it had to be word of mouth. Yeah. Somebody had to tell it, and there was more cloak and dagger back then.
Like someone somewhere would hear a whisper from one of the devs. One of the devs would get drunk and say, "And we put the thing, and they'll never find it." And folks spend like the next 3 to 5 years off of just looking off of rumors, man.
So that was the whole thing. That was the whole deal. In this movie, they made the owner made these Easter eggs, and he said, if you can find these 3 keys, you can get control of my whole company, and basically that was like, I mean, I don't know how the future was, but it seemed like everybody was kind of.
I mean, basically, it was like saying, "You find these 3 keys in my video game, you get control of the internet."
Yeah, or whatever. Yeah,
I mean, like that would be the same as doing that now. Like, if you control the internet, you control government resources.
Yeah. So you get a real big. You get the biggest company in the world. You get all resources at your fingertips. So, of course, what that means, you're going to have corporation people trying to get that because they ain't going to let just that fall into the hands of a normal person.
Right.
So here you have this movie where we got our main character played by, what's his name?
Tye Sheridan.
Tye Sheridan. Okay. What's his name in the movie?
His character's name was Wade Watt. His avatar's character was Parzival.
All right. In which everybody know in the gaming community, you make a little avatar. That's the person you are in your game or whatever. And so half of this movie was in the virtual world. Well, more than half. Well, I'd say about
75 to 80.
Yeah, 75 to 80% was in the virtual world, and like 20% was in the real world. You know. Like, what did you think of all the virtual scenes?
It was cool, man. Like, because they really went out of the way to not only point out like how, extensive some of these worlds are, but also how interconnected a lot of them are. Like you might if you hop through the right doorway in one, you're in a specific place on another. Stuff like that. But
yeah. Me, I always liked video games, and I gamed a lot, back in the day. Then I like take a break, and I start. So I was like, I can't really call myself a straight gamer, but I do like games, and all the video game references was okay, but I didn't really trip off of it. So the thing when they was doing some of the video game stuff, I wasn't that interested, but I did like the special effects. Like when they did the race to get the first key, it's like they had a big old race, and that's where people saw the DeLorean. And we need to talk about some of the references.
Because if we go through all of them, we ain't got
right. Yeah, that's why I said so.
Man, that's gonna be a couple hours at least.
So yeah, that was the stuff that was really working for me, man. Those race scenes, the racing in general, but it was a lot of special effects or whatever was pretty damn awesome. And then I started spotting, cars. They didn't really do much. I was waiting for all the cars to do their little signature thing, but they didn't do all that.
Mach 5 in there. And
I saw the Mach 5.
They didn't use it at all.
I know. I was waiting for the Mach 5 to do the little.
Heartbroken over that, right?
Or then they had the 60s Batmobile in there. So they had some cool little stuff in there.
The recumbent bike from Acura.
Yeah. So, and we saw most of that in the trailer, but those are the little scenes I like. And they also, and I thought Steven Spielberg wasn't gonna be like, oh well, I'm not gonna put all my movies in there.
He put all
liar.
He put all of them.
Man, he had the Jurassic Park dinosaur because he had the same noise. The T-Rex from Jurassic Park, followed up by chasing the DeLorean.
Yep.
And the Iron Giant pop up. Come on, man, them all your movies.
King Kong was it. I think he even had his name on a billboard during the race.
Yeah, right.
Stephen King was all over this piece, man.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun though. That was the parts I liked was those fun moments. And so he meet the girl he like. What's her name?
Artemis.
Okay, yeah. Which it's got in these YA movies, they always got to have a boy and a girl fall in love with some bullshit, So you had to Artemis. Now I did like she was riding a Kira bike.
His best friend in the Oasis, Aech.
Oh, I thought that character was the God of War. I thought he was Kratos.
No.
When I first saw it on the trailer, I was like, oh, that's Kratos, right? Now, I mean, when I seen it now, it was like, okay, that's not Kratos or whatever.
I mean, I would have liked to see Kratos.
Yeah.
Wrecking some shop, but I guess they couldn't quite afford him. Sony don't let up rights for nothing.
Right.
But they got Tracer from Overwatch.
Oh yeah, I mean,
they
just thought. I mean, when you think
Turtles, Battletoads.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw so many things.
Oh man, so much. We got Worgen and trolls from Warcraft. We've got if it's a thing, it's in here.
Yeah. Oh, because you know what? What also stood out to me, man, all the reference to 80 movies was like wow. Like, I mean, I ain't saying I was crazy about it because I'm starting to get a little. I ain't getting tired of the 80s, but I'm like, man, a lot of these people were just kind of stuck in the 80s, which the 80s was a cool decade, but it's like, damn, they went from they talk about a lot of the scary movies in the 80s to all the little teen movies. Yeah. Breakfast Club,
Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Right. Breakfast Club,
Ferris Bueller.
Yeah. All them movies and stuff. They kind of like threw all them in there. So it was just like it'd take days to dissect all the stuff they put in this movie, man.
I mean, but you know what? Because the book was kind of like that. It was a love letter to the 80s, you know. So
yeah, I see.
Even having that boombox scene.
Oh yeah, that was from what's the name of the movie? What's his name? John Cusack movie from the 80s. I forgot the name of that movie. A lot of people know that.
At least he wasn't wearing the trench coat when he did.
Yeah.
But you know, so the movie, like the book before it, is definitely a love letter to the 80s, but also brings in a lot of stuff that, you know, since it is so visual, a lot of stuff that, you know, kids nowadays would trip off of. So like Tracer from Overwatch, some stuff like that.
Yeah, they blended it. Yeah. They put in a lot of new stuff from the 90s and the 80s. I noticed a few things, and I'm like, okay. So, you know, that all was cool. Now, let's talk about how that was cool. Let's talk about how that meshed with the whole story. Because you know how the point of this was, which they kind of showed in the preview, it was more than going on. Everybody's trying to get this little
Easter egg.
To get the Easter egg so they can take over the company. And, you know, the company, the big corporation, they got, you know, all these people on payroll just trying to figure all this out and all this stuff.
And so, I mean, because it is an interesting dynamic, because usually it'd be like the guy that used to run the company dies and he leaves his will open-ended like that.
Yeah.
The guy ready to keep control of what they already got. So this is like the corporation IOI.
Yeah.
Basically,
go ahead.
It'd be like being a company that makes computers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you make the best computers and everyone buys your shit. And then suddenly the guy that owns the internet dies and says, I'm going to leave my shit to whoever can find all this in this platform I created called the Oasis. And you make all your money off of the Oasis.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, that brings this story. So then, of course, you guys will have your villain, Bill Mendelsohn character. What's his name? Sorrento. And, of course, he's your sleazy corporate guy. And his avatar was a sleazy corporate guy.
Like, how much, like the oil was practically dripping.
Oh my God! Hair, I was like, he had piercing eyes with oily hair. Like, yeah, that's your sleazy corporate guy.
Yeah, like just 100%. Like, I feel like his avatar has literally like bought someone's entire life from him and sold it back to him at a profit.
So we can bring up some of the characters, the bad guy characters. You had T.J. Miller was his main little crony that I guess he was a gamer that was what you call them kind of gamers? You call it
well, he's a bit of an elitist, but like he's kind of a meta gamer. He doesn't play for fun. He plays to like get stuff. He plays to say that he's been there. He likes it.
When them gamers and they think they the smartest person in the room and whatnot.
Always.
Yeah. That was played by T.J. Miller, which I actually like that character. The movie was funny as hell. Do you remember the name of the character?
IROC.
That's a perfect name for him, right?
Literally, I-R-O-K. IROC.
And he had a little henchman lady. Now I told you she had the bangs, and that always means she's going to be evil. Like, what was her name?
Her Finale Xander is her character's name.
Wow.
Yeah. So just in case you didn't know she was a bad guy.
Yeah.
She's got a bad guy name, but Hannah something.
Okay, yeah. Well, they give them the Vulcan bangs. Every time you see a lady with bangs, she's evil.
She has a character on the show, Killjoys. And so she plays two characters on there. One of them is a bounty hunter, and the other one is an evil overlord.
Okay, so she played bad She played evil
Yeah.
people and other stuff. Okay,
She plays a lot
kinda,
of
I mean, she
femme
an attractive lady though. So
She plays.
maybe she
almost-
had those eyes.
But like she almost exclusively plays femme fatales and shit. So.
Well, she immediately put me in the mindset of what? Blade Runner 2049 villain. Blade Runner 2049 villain. Love.
Yeah.
Where she had the bangs too.
Yeah. At least I'm not the only reason you hated it. But yeah, I see what you mean about the bangs. Like, I guess it's just those sharp lines let you know that someone.
I don't know, man. I'm telling you, dude. The Vulcan bangs mean they are evil. I guess it was like
straight back, piercing eyes, straight
yes,
cut bangs.
Yeah, they gonna be.
They ain't about.
That's gonna be an evil female.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, that was a lot of the characters, man. But well, you can see where this movie was going. It kind of went in the same. It kind of went in the same direction where a lot of these movies go. It kind of like follow a lot of those beats where I seen it going. You know what I'm saying? So you got your girls like. You got your main character that's something about him is special, which it's not, and then he meet this girl that he like, and guess what? She's part of some kind of rebellion and all that stuff. Now this is where it started to fall apart for me a little bit when they got to the real world, and when they went to the real world, wait a minute, that'd be a spoiler. Okay, when they got to the real world, and the characters had to interact with each other, and I was like, I ain't feeling it. Only because, one, the character act too different from when they act with the Avatar. And I know people with the when they got the Avatar, they're gonna act a different way.
Yeah.
I just didn't feel it.
Yeah, I mean, because there is definitely, they tried to play that as straight as they could, and it fell a little flat in some areas.
Yeah,
like some of their characters' hang-ups are they're hard to invest in the real world.
Yeah.
It's like,
now, you know what? We could talk about this in the spoiler discussion. My problems with that whole stuff with seeing those scenes, because it's a little spoilerish. But yeah, I wasn't. Some of the real world interaction, I kind of wasn't feeling, and and I elaborate more of that in the spoilers. But moving on. So things I didn't like about this was, like I said, the story beats to me was just a little too cliched. The story itself is something new, but the story beats were cliched. I seen things coming. I knew what was going to happen. And sometimes some of the characters did some dumb shit that would make me say, why they do that? The setup for the next scene. You know what I'm saying? So that was cool. My another one of my gripes is it was just a little too long, man. Just a little too long, man. Where the movie was 2 hours 20 minutes, and they could have trimmed out. At least got to about hour and 45, hour and 50 minutes at least. Yeah. You could trim at least 30 minutes out of there. I don't know, man. Do you have anything that you didn't like?
I mean, other than there's some forced story beats in this movie, and it's one of the few things that really, really bugged me.
Mm-hmm.
I was waiting to get tired of some of the nods to pop culture stuff.
Yeah,
and I didn't. I'm happy to say that I did not get tired of that. But most of the stuff I didn't like in this is like story beats and character stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of that we can't really talk about until
we talk
discussion. So I'll talk more about that in the spoiler discussion. But other than that, I like the movie for what it was.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it for what it was. I love the visuals. The ending to me was kind of like, it's all right. I think because of the length of it, kind of made me a little. Like, come on, let's get this over with a little bit at the end.
Like every little, like, everything that's in the way of this movie being done was like, y'all ain't have to do that. Y'all ain't have to do all that.
Yeah. So yeah, like I said, it'd be more in the spoilers where we can talk about more of and go in depth with my problems. We be more spoilerish. So I'm gonna go ahead and give it a rating. So, all right. This movie it had a lot of good pop culture references, a lot of good visuals, and a lot of the action blend well. And I didn't care for the main character, but I liked some of the other characters. So, but my problem with this movie was it was just too long, and some of the story beats was too predictable. So for that, I am going to give this movie all right. I just thought it was all right, man. I mean, I would like to give it a dope. I would like to give it an epic because of all the visuals and the cool stuff in there. But I just came out saying it was all right, man. I mean, because it wasn't bad, but it didn't blow me away either. So I'm just going to give it all right.
Okay, so I gotta be extremely critical on this one. I'd rather not, but I'm gonna give it. I gotta give it a dope. Because for one thing, like I guess I'm just a little too bought in on this one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm still a little too much in the target audience on this one. Like some of the gamer stuff. Like I was too happy to see it. Just every single nod was like, "Hey, that's that thing, and that's that thing." And that's that thing. So, like, on that alone, I'm just way too bought in to give it anything less than a dope. I think it was a solid flick. It did run a little too long, and it's very noticeable that it runs too long. So I can't give it anything more than that, but definitely giving it a dope.
All right. So there you have it. Gives it a dope. I give it an all right. It's a pretty good movie. Go see it as soon as you can. Don't let my rating deter you from seeing this movie because it was pretty good. I think it's worth at least one time viewing. So we're going to jump into the